Good evening. It's News and Views with Bella. I'm your host, Bella, and we have a guest today. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Brian E. Nance, and I go by the DJ artist name Who is Brian Tech. That name was gifted to me before I left New York City in 2018 and moved upstate New York by Immediate Distribution that they distributes mixtapes digitally online. And I've produced mostly house music, and I play house, hip hop, dance hall, all type of EDM music. And I'm originally from the Bronx, New York, and now I'm in Ithaca, New York. I'm about an hour south of Syracuse, New York.
Okay. So, what made you come up with the name Brian Tech?
Oh, okay. So I believe it was in 2005, um, in the city, and I used to listen to radio, college radio, matter of fact, and it was a house music show on Tuesday nights. Actually, it's very interesting when I think about it. And I believe the name of the show was called The Candy Store. And they played a lot of underground house records that I was getting myself in uh, caught up with to be able to find on at the record stores that when they used to have some record stores in the city. And the radio show host had like some sort of competition, or he's like looking for inspiring up and coming producers to send in music to the station so that he would play it. And at the time, I was converting from hardware to software, and the software I was using was FL Studio, but I was like, I want to stop playing around with FL Studio and get into Reason, which what I use now. And I made this groove. It was called the Pad Groove, and it was just a track with no vocals. It was just a raw track that you could just play at a dance studio or house club that the house heads are into, and they just do their thing. But I sent it in. It was a CD full of music, and it had 10 tracks that I made. And I didn't even think he would pick that because I didn't think it was anything. And at the time, I had to create an email address. And so I had made a Hotmail address. It was called briantechmusic@hotmail.com. So ever since then, I stuck with Brian Tech. I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool because I played deep house, techno, you know. So I just stuck with it. And then in 2018, it's a long story. I'm trying to make it like abbreviate the situation. So there's a distribution I was just telling you about that he puts out DJs music and mainly like Mixcloud and SoundCloud. But from what I understand through him, I learned that there's so many platforms worldwide, not just these two. And so it's a way to get your music and your DJing repertoire out to the world online. And I can't remember the name of the platform that he had. Maybe it'll come back to me later. But anyways, come to find out, he saw on my Facebook that I went to Samuel Gompers High School in the South Bronx. And he said he went there. I'm like, man, I don't remember your face. So anyway, we kind of got cool at that time, and he was kind of mentoring. But, sometimes as dudes want to do our own thing, and I kind of shied away from him. But it's mad love and respect because he was telling me things when I think about it, should have stayed the course. But sometimes you feel like certain things take a long time. So before I even started putting out these mixes on Mixcloud via his digital distribution, he said somebody came up with a name, part of his team. So I'm like wondering, man, what name you got? Because I like Brian Tech. They was like, yo, who is Brian Tech? Automatically, I liked it because that kind of represents me. When I
Yeah.
play music, I want to hit people with something. You be like, what the heck is this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, you must be God sent. I didn't tell him that, but so that I went with it. I've been running with it forever. I was thinking just lately, I'm like, I'm almost 50. I'll be 47 in July. I'm like, eventually I'm gonna have to drop it. Who is Brian Tech tag and just stick Brian E. Nance when I make this music. But I don't know. I'm kind of loving the Who is Brian Tech still. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's good because it's like it's something that people ask you every time they meet you. Who is Brian Tech? So
Right,
it's catchy. It's yeah,
right. You got it already.
yeah. When did you start making beats?
Wow, good question. So my dad is a musician, and he honestly got me into like drum machines and keyboards when I was yay high. So I'm talking maybe 9 or 10. So my dad actually liked to show me instruments like keyboards and piano, and I've learned, and I know how to play back piano, and I can actually show someone a few things. But the drum machine, because of rap music and because of dance hall, and I didn't know anything about no house music because I'm 8 years old, and he had a Roland drum machine. It's obsolete now, but it had like 16-bit quality. It was called the Roland R5. And he taught me the basic of how to record and play it back as a pattern loop. And then I used to make beats as a kid. And it's funny, I remember making beats, and my dad was like, "Man, did you make this, or is this a standard pattern in my drum machine?" So I got so good at it, he couldn't, he couldn't differentiate like if this was a beat that came with the drum machine or something I made. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
made, you know what I'm saying? Like a preset loop. So then people used to come over. He's like, "Yeah, listen to this. Listen to this. My son actually made this beat." And so I used to think about, I was like, man, my dad is even showing people that I make these beats and stuff. And my friends would come over at our house in the Bronx years ago in Parkchester. And I was like, you know what? Eventually, I think I want to take this further as I get older. It's always been in my mind. And so, yeah, I started out yay high. And I think what happened is fortunately, I was able to travel even in high school. One of my grandfathers, my father's father, lived in Florida. And I was going through some things in the city, and he asked me to come down to Spring Hill, Florida. And I did. But I took the music with me as far as and my inspiration to want to continue. And that's what I did. And eventually, up until like maybe 97, 98, when I got back to New York City, when I got my first real jobs, working mailroom, saved my money buying records. And eventually I bought drum machines and little workstations that used to use floppy disk drives. And I used to record them joints to cassette. And then, I used to give them to my dad. He used to show it around at his job, actually. I couldn't believe it. But, ever since then, just making beats. And I think I really got serious about it in the early 2000s. I met a producer. He was heavily into house music, but he's a musician. He showed me a few things too. And he used to come to my crib a lot in the Bronx, and he helped me to see with the computer with another software. I believe it was called Magic. His name was Tia Ranichi, and he was actually making records. And he's an OG, so he's a mentor, and because I was into house music, I met him at a record store in the Village in Manhattan because I used to buy records. And we connected, and he helped me to see that it's bigger than just making beats. And I knew about house culture by far and things, but I never really thought that my music, would be able to go further, even now, And I feel that I was fortunate to meet someone like him, even because he helped me to see that this music is bigger than just making beats. Like you can go pretty far with it. But to this day, I don't just make his house music. I can do hip hop and all styles. But yeah, to make a long-winded story short, I've been doing it for a long time.
yeah. So besides your dad, was there anyone else who inspired you to do your beats and stuff?
Yeah. Again, I feel like Tia Ranichi, someone I met on the strength of the record store, digging in the crates for house music. Also, I feel like a lot of people that I grew up with, there was it's funny, just like about 2 months ago, somebody I went to high school with that in Florida, that he's originally from one of my grandparents' old projects in the Bronx River houses. And his grandmother knew my grandfather. His name is Charles Heron. He's a rapper. And he just hit me up on Instagram, and we kind of linked up. And he's one of the dudes, honestly, that I could feel and say that he used to give me these catalogs from Brooklyn about drum machines and stuff and records. And so I feel and that, you know, there's a lot of people in my life that I've met that I don't even, that even a friend of mine that died, that he was a DJ and he used to go crazy about my beats. He was like, yo, bro, your beats, especially with this house and techno, is bananas. And he used to, when he used to tell me that, I'd be like, yo, I don't hear it, but if he says it, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I look back, and then I grew up in the Bronx. There's a lot of melting pot of all type of culture, West Indian, of course, Latin. And then, so like I grew up with Puerto Rican, Dominican, Honduras, Jamaican, you name it. And so, and a lot of them Caribbean folks, they're with house culture, really, you know, like the house culture, a lot of them incorporate and they contributed, in my opinion, hard body to dance, house music culture as far as dancing. And you learn a lot from dancers. And see, this is one of the things I do want to share, that with house music, what makes it different than this sibling hip hop is that it's a sharing culture. It's also, there's another word for it. It's called sweat equity. So if you're a DJ, if you're a house DJ and you play at a club and you got really professional dancers, even if they're just house heads, right? They don't have to pay you. I'm just telling you what it is, you know, with the house culture, a little different. Being that I love music, but I love house music, when I play, they don't even have to be mine. If I'm playing house music, but I'm seeing that these dancers, they are loving it so much that they're sweating, that I realize I've done my job as a house DJ. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole different, because I've played in the city. Fortunately, I was fortunate enough to play in dance studios throughout New York City. So I got a heads up on house culture as far as what to play for the house heads. So I already know in my, you know, even though I like all styles of dance music, Afro house is big. And before Afro house got big with like Black Coffee and things like that, and even Afro beat, it's about the percussion. That Afro and Latin Caribbean rhythms is what gets these dances going. It's not just that kick drum, because that can get lame if you just hear that. You see? But because I know that's my basis, but it's about elements for me, because I like the deep tech soulful sounds, you know, and I like spoken word, and I love vocals that are soulful. And then you add these elements, and this is what brings me into production. You see what I'm saying? And that's creating what I like to do as far as house music is concerned. So I hope I explained that.
Yeah, you explained it in detail.
Right.
A question I wanted to ask you was, is it the passion that you have for the beats? Is that what made you more geared towards making beats rather than being a, you know, a rap artist, or, you know, or something else? Because I know you produce also. You DJ, you produce, and you make your beats. So what, because I'm asking because, you know, you're from New York, you have the accent, you have the flow, the sound of your voice and everything. So what is that, your passion for making beats, that what made you decide to, I'm just gonna make beats, I'm not gonna be, you know, an artist or anything like that?
So I'm gonna say this, not only because you're connected radio, but you asked one of the best questions that I'm glad you asked it. Like, I would love to be a rapper. I could get a pen and write joints. I do spoken word, you know, but I know I'm not no Jay-Z or T.I., none of that. I stay in my lane, but I do spoken word. But you asked me basically with the beats, why I don't do rap, you saying?
I asked you, you know, why did you choose I know from you explaining it to me, I can tell that you have a passion for making the beats, and you know,
Right.
I wanted to know why you, that was it for you. Like, this is what I'm definitely going to do, rather than say, you know, dip into this, you know, I'm gonna dip into, you know, rapping a little bit, because you definitely have, you know, you can make your own beats, you can do all of. Why did you choose to only make beats and, you know, produce and DJ, rather than, you know, add in, you know, rapping a little bit too?
Still a great question. um, I feel it's kind of a complex answer, but I'm gonna answer it the best way I can. Like I was kind of saying, I love the artistry of rapping and being able to pen something on paper, and then how can I say it? Bring it forth to the masses in your own way. Because we know rap and singing, anything with your vocals is artistry. production is artistry, but I feel like the beats is a foundation. You know, it is. And so you got to start somewhere. And when you make a, okay, like for example, house music, a complete house track, even if it samples of vocals, right, or it's your own vocals, you can create a song. So I feel like I am a vocalist as well, but like to be honest, because a lot of my production is beat heavy, it's something about the production with the beats that I feel like it drew me in. You know what I'm saying? But I realized as time going, and even now, a lot of people have given me credit in my speaking voice, and at times I feel like I can sing, even though I can't really sing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. But I just think that it just all goes all hand in hand. The penning the lyrics, the vocal singing, spoken word, even rapping, because there's hip house. You know, there's a lot of music that incorporate the EDM style beats or house or whatever, and then they actually sing, of course, soulfully or spoken word. I have spoken word tracks, and I feel like I don't want to limit myself with beats, but with like I said, I feel like it's just my foundation. That's how. So, like for example, I want to explain what I mean by foundation for me. Um, if I have a groove in mind or a track or a project, and I can't find a singer, you know, I'm like, you know what? Let me play around with things with my own voice. Then I can take it from there. So that's my foundation. You know.
Okay, so I listen to a lot of your beats, of your own beats and stuff on YouTube. Um
Nice.
I listen to all of them. And
Whoa.
I'm from New Jersey, so it kind of brought me back home. Like the
Hmm.
house home, and because I living in North Carolina, you don't hear a lot of the up north no anymore. So listening to your beats gave me like that. You know, how you close your eyes, you vision yourself someplace else. Like I vision myself back home, like in the house party, where it's just just the beats and the up northness and the laughing and the joking, like my past.
Where
Like
you from originally? I'm sorry.
I'm from North New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I'll keep going.
Yeah.
I want to say
So
something about that.
it was amazing for me because I miss back home. I miss
Okay.
like my childhood and being able to sit, with a bunch of my friends and just listen to music. So,
Nice.
for yourself, how do you describe your music for you?
Well, it sounds like I've done my job because see, that was the whole point. When I make stuff, and this is only because this is what I went through when I wasn't producing. So there's a track I made called "We Met Through Music," and there was a reason why I made it.
My
That's one of them, huh? You know,
that was one of my favorite
like I
because
said, I'm doing my job.
the words for it. It's just the beats just said everything. Like
Mhm.
that was my favorite one.
Oh, so like I said, we're doing our job. We on
Yeah.
it. So, for example, when I was a teenager and I was learning and loving house music as far as the music, and didn't know nothing about club culture. I'm just hearing, for example, Frankie Knuckles. I don't know if you're aware of Frankie Knuckles. He was a house DJ. He died 2013, I believe. But he's like the godfather of house music. He's originally from New York City. He moved to Chicago, and he actually created the house music sound. So I basically made that to say I met Frankie through his music, and I met David Morales through the house music, and everyone else that I used to listen to. So I made that, and it kind of, I guess you enjoyed it. So it's basically a transfer share. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was my experience to share to whoever listens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So when you're not working and you're in your downtime, and what music do you listen to? What's your go-to music to sit there with your drink and your relaxing, like on your patio or your balcony, or what do you listen to?
yeah, of course, R&B and hip hop.
Yeah.
Because and I'm with yo. All right, so I'll give it up a little something. So when I'm with my fiance, we used to do this. It's been a while. We haven't done it in a while. We go into YouTube and pull up the R&B playlist and let it just play. And we be like, yo, you remember that? You remember that? That
Yeah.
joint is fun, man. You
So it's
know,
old school R&B and hip hop that you listen to.
most definitely.
All right.
I love the new stuff.
Yes.
I mean, just like how I guess some of my music made you feel at home and took you back. That's what it does. You know, you already know.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah. You know, so.
Have you DJ or have you used any of your beats with celebrities, or have you DJ for any celebrities, um or sent your beats to any of them?
Well, as far as house music is concerned, I'm gonna relate it to what you're asking, and my, you know, so there's a label called Soul Channel Music. Big up to Mr. V and Soul Channel. And I submitted a 4-track. It's called, the name of the EP is called, I believe it's House Coming. It was like a few years ago. And for me, that was major when that came out, because they're a premium house label worldwide. And for me, like I was saying, when I got the release and got signed for that, I was going crazy. Like I was on IG going live just randomly, like, man, I feel like I won $1 million. Well, I didn't, but it was the release, But no, I've never, like, as far as someone that you might know, honestly, not really. I'll be honest. But the main thing is what I love to play and produce. I felt like I made my goals as
Yeah.
far as, because like if I went hard body at certain things are a lot different, I feel, with this internet and social media and SoundCloud and things, people are just independent. So it people are doing their own thing. But honestly, yeah, I never went and submitted to major label situation, or even played for a major label. But I've had a lot of highlights, I feel like, as far as releases with house music, and I'm good with it, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that I could do it, the things you're asking, but it takes time. And I don't know, but and my lifestyle is, work and trying to juggle my love with, music, and trying to keep the electricity on to be able to juggle it. That's a whole different situation, you know what I mean? But it's all good as far as the music is concerned. I love it, you know what I mean? Like, it's not always about money, it's about communities. And I would like to share something that I had premeditated, if you don't mind, about house music and hip hop as well. So, like, as you know, with hip hop and R&B, it's about community, and with house, same thing. And I feel like one thing that I learned with house music is that I love is what's the word? The etiquette and professionalism and sharing. See, this is important in the times we live in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the etiquette that I'm learning, for example, is sharing. And even if it's a competition dance, these people, they clap for one another and show love. Don't show anything else but love, regardless if you win or lose. I think it's very important for the OGs to continue that, and even in hip hop, that you congratulate. You could battle and still show love. You know what I mean? Keep it moving. You know what I mean? And build together too. I think that's the big thing that I feel is more important when it comes to music and money, in my opinion. But I mean, we need the money to keep the electricity on so we can do this thing. But what's very important is the etiquette, sharing, showing love, building together, unity. All these things house music does. All these things I feel hip hop does, but could do better, honestly. And R&B, they do it. You see?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Do you have anyone that you would like to sample your beats?
Sample? What exactly? What do you mean? I'm sorry.
If they were doing a song, or they had a song, is there anyone that you have in mind that you would like to sing your beats to put on their song?
Oh, so like if I had production, if there were certain artists?
Yeah.
Oh, another excellent question. Honestly, it's funny. Yo, I love Busta Rhymes. His style is amazing. There's so many. I realized Mr. Cheeks, honestly, I know he's connected with Connect, but it has nothing to do with it. I realize he's a pop. He got some songs, man. Styles P.
Amazing. Like your beats on someone's vocals, like that would be wonderful. That
Oh,
would off
thank
of
you. I appreciate that. You don't know. I really do. I have an artist I'm working with. His name is Manny Man. He's originally from Brooklyn, and we've been working together. I met him mutually through my dad, actually, and we're working on things. I definitely want to push him as far as a vocalist. But and then I didn't mention female singers and artists. I would like to actually. I would have loved to have Whitney on my stuff. Obviously,
yeah.
you know she was amazing. She's from Newark.
Yeah,
One
she's
thing I
definitely
want to,
Jersey.
huh?
Yeah, she's definitely from New Jersey.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, because you mentioned you're from Newark. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Newark is heavy house music back in the day.
Hmm.
It's like this is my opinion. I'm from New York City, but guess what? Newark is more soulful house than New York City. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like there was a club, I don't know if you're aware of it, called back in the day called Club Zanzibar.
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, you know your stuff. I already know. So I don't know if you heard of Tony Humphries.
No, I've never heard of Tony
Okay,
Humphries.
he was a DJ. He's still a DJ. I'm sorry. But he championed the sound for the Zanzibar. And it was rivalry. I don't know if you remember this club from New York City, Paradise Garage.
No, I don't. I didn't know Paradise. I only went a certain number of places. You know, my mom was like really strict. So when we got to be adults, it was like I was experimenting with going out to different. But
Oh,
I was one of the clubs that I did go to.
okay. I can envision it. You come past 2 a.m. Girl, where was you at?
Grown and all, she texted. Yep.
I hear you. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, but Zanzibar is still talked about today, even across the pond in the UK. The Ministry of Sound, I believe the guy's name. So it's a sound system guy. I believe his name was John. What's the guy's name? He's legendary for the sound system at Zanzibar and Paradise Garage, but he also helped with the sound. Richard Long is his name. Just remember that name, Richard Long. He created, I believe, the sound system for the Zanzibar too. So basically, what happened was this Paradise Garage in New York City years ago, which is a famous club that they had for, it was disco before house music and early R&B and goes into house music. They wanted to kind of bring the same sound from New York to Jersey and Newark, Zanzibar. And see, Zanzibar, I think you've been there, right?
I've been to Zanzibar, yes.
What? Right. Okay. So I understand they had it. It was not only people dancing at the club and the DJ. They had people perform. Do you remember that or no?
I don't remember the performance, but you know, I was a little inebriated. Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah. We won't. We understand. He was tipsy a bit. I get it.
So,
But
you know,
yeah,
I
that's
could
what's up. But
my head all I could hear.
but yeah, I just feel like Newark, and it's still a big thing in Jersey with house music. They still have their dance festivals with house music. Irvington, New Jersey, too, I believe. You know.
Yeah, I lived
Yeah.
in there.
Wow. Yeah, my mom had a good friend in Newark, and when I was a little kid, she used to take me over there, but I didn't know nothing about no house music, nothing like that. I just remember Newark was a rough area too, you know.
Yes,
Yes.
it was rough. It was
Yeah.
rough. I enjoyed it. Like when I used to listen to the beats, I that was like we didn't need any words. All
Right.
we like you get your drinks or whatever you had and you sit around and you just listen to the beats. That was it. You ain't need no words or nothing. That was the good times.
Right. That's what everyone says, that we're from that era. It was not about too much singing. I mean, when it came in, you felt good because obviously the DJ knew what he was doing back
Mm,
then. See, he it was about that dance floor and you guys, the dancers. It wasn't about the DJ either. He did, like you said, you don't even know who Tony Humphries is. It wasn't important back then. You know, obviously now it's important because it's like, well, who is these people playing this amazing music? You know?
mm-hmm.
And it's good. It's like for you to share, like you said, your experience at the Zanzibar, and it's different now. Unfortunately, you know, you got your device, and everybody's trying to record something. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. But with that experience, you always remember, you know.
Yes. And that's what brought it back, listening to your beats. When I was
Wow, thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
like to do my you know what I'm saying, my I like to do my investigation on people before I talk to them on my days. So
Excellent.
I went back and I was listening to your beats. I was like, oh my God, this, you know how some people when they in bad space, they think about the beach and whatever gonna relax them. Like listening to
Right.
the and stuff, I was like, oh my God, this make me think about this time when I was here and this time when I was there. And it was like all you had to do was sit around with your whatever your favorite flavor in your cup was, you know, and just listen to the music and it calmed you down. Like it gave you like this good feeling. And I that your the beats I was listening to from your stuff was like that was it for me. That was
Thank you.
I used to remember when I used to sit in the park when it was good to sit in the park at
Right.
night. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Safe, right?
My best friend or my sister, and we used to just sit out there, just laugh and joke. The kids would run around playing. We'd be out there with just the beats, no
Wow.
vocals, no nothing. Just turn the radio all the way up and just hear the beats playing.
That's dope.
That,
And
that was it for me. I really enjoyed listening to your beats.
thank you. I want to mention one thing, being that you said that. So what's interesting, I don't think I shared this. If you don't mind, I want to share what inspires me to make maybe the certain stuff you heard. Like I mentioned, uh, we met through music. I kind of explained that one, but there's a lot of tracks that I feel like coming from what you're saying, coming full circle, because I was smart enough when I was younger to not do a lot of things, so I can't remember the old school roots that I kind of want to inject in the update of this today's world with this music and kind of keep it relevant. So I kind of try to keep that soulful, deep vibes that like Frankie and Tony Humphries and that I used, I could hear it. I go on YouTube and hear old school house records that you're talking about that were like just beats
Mm-hmm.
that were minimal vocals and it was doing the job of getting people to sweat. And like you said, there was tracks that you had your drink and you're feeling good. You didn't care what people might think of you, how you dance, because nobody cared. It was dark and you was just having fun. You're sweating. So that's the vibe that I kind of want to bring, even if it's a tech house, a European sound or EDM sound and thing. I still want to bring that vibe because this is a vibe, in my opinion, is needed because it's deep. It's coming from the soul. It's soulful. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a within thing other than robotic. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to share that, being that you said that.
Okay. Thinking about all your projects and beats and songs since you got started, what is your best work? The one you feel like you knew you showed out in.
Okay.
One, or do you have a bunch of?
I know. And I was gonna say something cocky, but I said no. I'm gonna be humble.
I said it for you, right?
well, we met through music is one of them. But I'm gonna say two more only because of what I see on the download store stats. So I have a track with my fiance's sister called Hey Lover. I don't know if you heard that one.
I think I did hear it. You can remind me because I kept playing with that through music, so I always went
Oh,
back.
you're gonna make me play that on the next show next Tuesday. And I gotta give you a shout out.
You guys, yes, because that one was one of my favorites. So I think after I finished listening to all of them, I went back to that one, and I think that's the one I put on my flyer when I posted my flyer saying that you were going to be on my show tonight.
on Facebook, I gotta find that flyer.
Mhm.
Please tag me. I want to see that.
Hey,
You did
yes.
on Facebook?
Hmm.
I ain't gonna front. I don't use Facebook too much, but I'm gonna find it. Okay, so we met through. So Hey Lover, um, again, that's my fiance sister Aisha Simon. She does spoken word, and I'm trying to remember how that came out. I would love for you to hear it when you can. So anyway, it's a very nice spoken word. Like I see that on Track Source, for example, it's been charted over 60 times by DJs that are into house music. And I'm like, very interesting. But it's when I play it back, it's pretty fly. So that's another one. Hey Lover, we met through music. I feel the project it came out on Soul Channel is House Coming, definitely for me. Another one that I did a spoken word for is called House is About. And I'm actually explaining house music through spoken word. And that's being charted. And I did the production, of course. But one thing I do want to share about that one, House is About, and it's very important that I share this, I feel. I was going through something when I wrote that spoken word. And I realized when you're focused and you're going through something that maybe sometimes you think that you might not be able to get through, if you stay focused, that might be a hit, I feel. You know what I'm saying? But it just helps you it helped me to see if things are falling down beside you, doesn't mean you have to stop. Keep going, stay focused. Because that I feel that one to see that I could do spoken word if I really put my mind to it. And I had a pen and paper. I was at work and I was like hiding out because my day was almost over. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna do something with this track. And whatever I'm going through, I'm just gonna block it out. And let me tell you, fam, I feel like that spoken word, maybe 30 years from now, I'm just throwing it around. That could be one of them things where if I had kids and they would maybe eat off of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's an independent release. It's called House is About. But
Is
I
it
just feel like I wanted to share that because sometimes people get unfocused, you know, and we all have talents, right? But sometimes you have to get your mind into something to stay focused, and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, keep doing it. You see what I'm
yeah.
saying? That's one thing I wanted to share because being that you asked it, that I feel like out of everything that I produced, that's got to be my favorite because it helped uplift me out of that set of my perspective of thinking that this is not looking good, and I didn't do nothing. It was I felt like an innocent person because I didn't really do anything, but because I stayed the course, not only it was over that situation. This track uplifted me and said, you know what, I could do spoken word. That if I stay focused like that, you know. So wanted to share that.
Your spoken word, is any of it on YouTube or did you
Yeah.
okay.
I
I'm
believe all of my stuff is on YouTube. Yeah.
because I couldn't find the only thing that I found was when you were reviewing other people beats, you had like 4 or 5 videos. I think it was 4 or 5 videos.
Interviews?
You no, you were reviewing. Like you were listening to the beats and you were doing like a review of all of the beats that you were listening to. It was some years ago because I think it said something like 7 years ago. But it was when I did find you on it on YouTube, I had seen those. You might
Okay.
not because I think
Yeah, I don't even. I'm like, yeah. I wish you could send me that link. I hope that's me.
yeah, I think it was you because like your you were in like a it was like a room or something and in one of the videos your grandfather had popped in.
My grandfather.
Damn.
You sure it's me? I
Yeah, because
don't know about. It might be.
I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook. When I find the videos, I'm gonna send it to your messenger. And I'm gonna
Okay. Okay.
send you because I'll be embarrassed if that is.
It's all good though, but I don't think it's me.
You. Okay,
I
but
still want to see
that's
that video.
your name there too.
Huh?
I said then that's somebody else with the same name you have too.
Yeah, let me find out. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely, my favorites. I definitely want to give a shout out to all of y'all connected radio, Kev. I really appreciate the opportunity to be with a team. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is wonderful that people are like getting together regardless of whatever lifestyles and situation you in and trying to build together. It's gonna take time. We all going through stuff. But I think if we support each other and move forward, there's a lot of things we could do. You know what I mean?
It is, and everybody has their own talent that we can all bring to the table, and
Right.
it kind of like once we can all find a project that all of us it's going to be incredible.
It
It's
will be. Because I see people that been following me before I even connected with y'all. They're like getting interested. not only what I'm doing, but what y'all doing, honestly. Because people out like there, people coming out the woodworks and like, yo, I'm really feeling what y'all doing. I'm like, it's not me, it's we, you know. And so, you know, you gotta keep it real, like, because we all need community. That's another thing. In House of the I explain that house music is about community. It's about groups of people. You can't be, you can't. House music is not about me. It's not about you. It's about everybody. So it's like because it's a united thing. Music. You're dancing
Yes.
together. You might have not met this person. You might be an enemy of this person, or you might not be on the same page. But because y'all enjoying yourself, you're not thinking about that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Brings everybody together.
Right. That's very
If
important.
that's where them cookouts come in and all that house music and
Oh shucks.
stuff.
And I'm not DJing and I'm not dancing. You know what I'm doing? Get me a plate, Jack.
Uh-huh. Corner.
Right. My drink.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's I mean that's where you meet your most people at. You got people coming in off the streets when because they hear the music. They hear
Right.
the smell the food.
That's it. That's it. You know.
That's that up north backyard thing. Boy, I miss
And
that.
down south.
That's it.
And down south. One thing I do want to say is not really has anything to do with house music, but music that I'm learning with the South, like Atlanta and Texas. I don't know if you go on social media and you can see that, you know, us black people and Spanish people, that we are gravitating down south to like line dancing.
Hmm.
That's their culture down there. Like,
Yeah.
so for example, Beyonce had a country album, right?
Yeah, she had a country album.
Right. But see, this is the thing. She made it clear that's what some of what she's about. Just like, okay, so maybe she doesn't now she might know because she's big time, but maybe when she was younger, right? She didn't know about like what me and you experience with Northern culture, with Jersey, Chicago, New York City, Philly, even Charlotte, and Atlanta as well, of course. Dance culture with house music, you know, but down there, it's a different culture. So I just kind of learned to respect it because the young people, little kids, are doing line dancing, and I'm not talking about just Caucasian people. I'm talking about everybody down there. It's
Yeah.
I just think you see what I'm saying, right? Is the uniting of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they got that new one now with the whole boots on the ground thing. You seen that one?
I'm not up on it, but now I'm gonna look for it.
Yes. They it's I didn't even know it was like a whole line dance, but this is actually a whole line dance from the
Wow.
boots on the ground.
Right.
It's a whole line dance
I
with
gotta
the
check
hair
that
and
out.
everything. You got to see
I
it.
I gotta see it because of course you remember like the electric slide.
Hmm.
I mean, it's kind of funny. When I was growing up, we always used to make fun of the older people doing that.
The electric slide, yes.
Right. And we were like, boy, I'd be like, boy, my grandmother, I didn't even know she does that, you know? I'm like, and then you get up with your grandmother, you like try to learn it and all that. But
Hmm.
it's all fun, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I kind of respect and appreciate country music now because I realize, you know what? It's not just Caucasian people. Black people love it too because this is part of their culture. You know,
Yeah.
rodeo culture. You know, I
Mm.
see black cowboys doing that thing. I'm like, you know, you've seen it before.
I learned about black cowboys. Like I like it baffled me when I
Mm,
said that and it's like a whole situation with it. You know what I'm
yup.
saying? I just like this year, last year, I
Right.
learned the black cowboys and stuff.
Right.
It was something that was very baffling to me.
It's a lot of history.
And you didn't really like I didn't really think that, we liked horses enough to actually get on them and ride them.
Right. And they're tough with it.
Hmm.
You know.
I've seen it in like videos and stuff on Facebook. I
Right.
the whole it's a whole situation.
It's a whole situation, no question. I'm like, see, it's funny. I feel like as I get older, I'm appreciating things that 20, 30 years ago I would have made fun of easily. But I'm like, you know what? Trying to understand my situation. Look at their situation. You see, we making fun of them, but they're good. They over here doing stuff that we never thought of, and they could think the same thing about up north. But it's just amazing what you could learn sometime, you know, as you get older, you know. And I think with music, with the younger generation, that is important is that one thing I like about the newer generation is that they're open to every style of music because of
Yes.
the, you know, like we see. I know when I was growing up in the city, you know, if you wasn't part of this group or sound like certain sound that you like, you didn't want to have no part of it. And it's kind of there's a word for it. It kind of minimalize your expansion on music. You know what I mean? And I love hip hop, and but I understand because of the internet, you could come in with the mentality not liking something, and then when you hear it, it grows on you, just like the
Yes.
radio. You
So
know? Yeah, because I never thought in 100 years I would like Glorilla. Her stuff is kind of tough. You know what I mean? And there's so many other artists. I'm like, I used to be like, what is this? You know, but now I'm like, you know, listening, this is a whole different world of music that, you know, she's rapping about her toes out. That's
mm,
her thing. Wu-Tang was talking about, you know, 5%ers and all this. And I'm like, oh yeah, they building, but this is what their culture is. You know, it
mm,
blows my mind how things, you know, is it evolves and it's like
yeah.
360, you know.
So, do you have any projects you're doing now? Anything? What you
I
got?
I sure do. So um performance wise, I'm working on doing something on Juneteenth up here, playing locally, you know, with the community.
Mhm.
They're doing a block party. I'm looking forward to that. Gonna try to get some of the city house head dancers that I know to come up and maybe do like a workshop and showing the younger people and anyone that's interested how to, you know, they do teach house dancing and popping, hip hop culture, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Okay, and then as far as the actual production, uh, what I want to mention. Okay, so there's a track coming out on a West Coast label, Open Bar Media, and the track is called Find Your Vibe. Now it's funny that boy, you a good interview. I'm gonna give you your props now and get over with because you got me. This kind of interview I like. You set me up proper. So this release is showing my artistry again vocally, and I produced it. I'm not gonna talk too much in detail, but the name of the track again is called Find Your Vibe. And I just want to say this because I feel when I made this, Find Your Vibe with the lyrics, it was basically to show anyone, regardless of whatever your situation is, if you like this music, don't be afraid to dance to it. Don't be afraid to get into it because your friends don't like it. If you find your vibe, basically, if you want to do line dancing to this groove, do it. I don't care. It's about you having fun. And it's just like if you want to tap dance to a hip hop track, that's your vibe, do it. It don't matter. It's about having fun. So
Mm.
that's what I wanted to share, and hopefully I get a nice feedback from you about that.
You know what that made me think about? Remember the percolator? Remember the
Oh
beat
yeah, oh
later?
yeah.
Because that
It's
percolator
on that style,
either. I mean, didn't have that much words either. But
right? It's on that style. Yeah,
uh,
it's that style basically,
okay, that's what it made me think about when you were describing it. The percolator.
right? It's time for the percolator.
Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the percolator. It came with a dance, but you was able to like put your own spin on it. You was
right.
other things with it. That's your description made me think about that. Immediately I thought about the percolator.
Yes, you explained it. Put your own spin on it. Yeah, you're gonna make me play some classic house next Tuesday, and Percolator gonna open the set.
That
Of
remember Follow Me? Follow Me was a good one.
course, that's a Newark classic.
That
Follow me.
that one. That
I love that. Yeah, I love as many times I've heard it, I still love it because
yeah,
it's like liberating. You know what I mean?
it's one of them old school classics. I
It
love.
is. It is.
Yeah, your spoken word? Because now I'm gonna go look for your spoken word.
Yeah,
Do
like that is my next venture. Seriously.
when you do your performances to it, do you do your music in the back, your beats in the background?
Boy, you getting better with the questions. I'm telling you. I never done a spoken word and like a live performance. This is all recorded production. So, but now that you mention it, I gotta move that in motion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your beats in the background of it. I would love to hear that. Like your spoken
Yeah, me
word with
too. Actually.
with your beats in the background.
Thank
That's
you.
something
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
for. You're gonna have to send it to Cam so he can send it to me. Or put it
Oh,
on your Facebook page or something.
which one? Find Your Vibe, the new one?
Your spoken word, your beats in the
Oh,
background.
any of them. Okay, I
Hmm.
got you. I think I gotta follow you on Instagram. I believe that's you. I saw. I gotta follow you because
Yeah,
this is your show. Yeah.
I think I sent you a friend request on Facebook.
Okay. You're definitely being followed via
Find me.
Facebook.
You a message.
Say it again, fam.
I said you find me. I'm gonna have to send you a message.
I'm gonna find you. Trust me. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
You let me know where they can find you at, or find your spoken word and your
All the
performance.
music. Yeah.
Wait, and
Okay.
your show is on Tuesday nights.
Yes. You want me to say all of that real quick?
Yes, sir. I would love for you to say all of that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So every Tuesday at 8:30 on Connected Radio and Connected Radio only exclusively, we do the Who is Brian Tech Eclectic Electric Tuesday, and it's throwback vibes, and new music. And so I play house music, EDM, and electronic dance music. House music is part of EDM, and it's basically the whole spectrum of dance music for me. Hip hop, of course, R&B classics. I play new hip hop, dance hall, reggae. I might play Latin music. I'm bringing it all. I might bring a country record now that I'm talking to on this show. We might chop it up different. Then, as far as my original production, come the Beatport music for the DJs or people that want to listen only. Go to Spotify. Who is Brian Tech? All of my production, tracksource.com, same thing. Who is Brian Tech? Any latest releases up there. And please, all the listeners, do me a favor, listen to all the DJs on Connected Radio. Listen to this show because they're going to be on show interviewing the rest of the DJs and so many, because this connected situation has a lot to offer. And it's about connecting and making moves together in a strong unit, you know?
You got everything on YouTube.
Yeah. You can follow me, Who is Brian Tech, on YouTube. A lot of my music is all of my music should be up there. I know my early releases were not Who is Brian Tech. Matter of fact, when we met through music was on an EP on a label, Nightscope Deep, I believe, and he's from Newark too, the label owner. And it was under Brian Nance or Brian Enan, my real name. So, but a lot of my music, if not all, is up there on YouTube. So, because I know everybody goes to YouTube, you know, they just cut the face, you know. It's so easy up there, you know what I mean? So, but thank you so much for you and Kev, Connected Radio again, for allowing me to do this interview. I think it was needed, and so that people know what I'm doing with the show on Tuesday. Very important, you know.
Yes. Thank you so much for letting me interview you, and thank you for your open honesty.
I enjoyed this. This made my day. Actually, I'm gonna sleep well tonight. And I'm gonna follow you. That if I don't do that, I might be getting messages and I might be in trouble. Y'all might throw me up. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. I'm gonna look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night, and I'm gonna look for your spoken word. I'm definitely gonna look for your spoken word.
Right, and hopefully I can get a review from you.
Yes, I'm gonna message you once I find it, and if I don't,
thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. And for everyone else, let's all stay connected. Thank you.
Connected.
The Connected Radio plays the hottest hits from indie or mainstream artists. Artists, do you need radio play and promotions?